I would say the wrong direction.
Why do you say that?
I find that there's a lot of chemicals placed in the food, both on vegetables and, for instance, like chicken. There's steroids injected in the chicken to make it grow faster. So I think it's going in the wrong direction.
I am generally nervous about food security with climate change and the changes that are happening in terms of how things are marketed, produced. I do not have confidence about the pesticides we're using, the destruction to the environment, and the lack of variability in terms of the kinds of food that we produce.
I think the right direction, but I think it's a little slower than what we would anticipate.
Okay. Do you have anything else to comment about the direction and where you want to see it go?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we're able to locally source food easier, I think that's the biggest thing. You know, throughout COVID, we tend to watch more documentaries on Netflix, so you're becoming a little more aware of what we can do to kind of help the environment. And one of the things that my fiance and I are trying to do is source food locally, and living in Toronto seems quite difficult to actually know where your food comes from. So I think if you had the opportunity of kind of having that background of like where the fish was caught or perhaps where the food was actually grown would actually be a benefit.
I think somewhat in the wrong direction because so many of the farms are being eaten up by developers.
I'd say I'm not too sure because I don't follow a ton of news on agriculture and things of that sort. But I feel like, I mean, things are getting more expensive as time goes on, but that's mostly inflation as well. So, like, I can't say I have too much to comment on that.
I think it's moving in the right direction.
Why do you say that?
I find there's more organic and natural foods now that weren't readily available, let's say 5 or 10 years ago. There's been a prevalence of farm-grown, like family farms that grow food, except for that CBC show snippet where it said like a lot of the farm markets are kind of like buying their stuff from wholesale food sources and packaging it as farmers markets, that's the only bad part. So there, you know, I would say the origin fraud is a problem.
Ça dépend toujours, tu sais, si on parle d'acheter plus local, je pense que ça s'en va dans la bonne direction, effectivement. Puis en général, oui, je pense que ça va dans la bonne direction parce que, tu sais, on élimine les pesticides quand on fait pousser les légumes et tout, donc on y va plus biologiquement. Donc oui, je trouve que c'est beaucoup mieux de ce côté-là.
I believe it's going in the right direction because I feel like our food supply is good enough. I feel like there's no overfishing going on. There's not that many like GMOs. So I feel like we're kind of safe at the moment, yeah.
I think it's moving in the right direction. There's a lot more people that are health conscious that are taking those steps, whether it's through the way it's farmed, people are doing it their own way, if that makes sense.
I think it's in the right direction, but as we are from India, there are a lot of places where I find Indian food here. All in all, I would say it's positive or it's on the right direction.
As an international student, I can say that it has been a good experience overall.
Well, I don't know a lot about it, but from what I know, there's some initiatives in place that are trying to help it go in the right direction.
I'd say it's moving in the right direction.
Why do you say that?
Because I feel like there's more support of local now, right? Especially like even with the like restaurant scene, there's a lot of support with that, right? Like making sure that you're taking produce from like all the different local farmers and that sort of thing. So I'd say it's going in the right direction.